We're just a couple of days from President Donald J. Trump being inaugurated, the 47th president of the United States. So many people are excited. They feel hope for the future, for their health, for the health of the nation. To help me go through some of the biggest stories in the news, I have Kim Bright. Kim, thank you for joining me again.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. And I'm so excited to be here today. There is so much happening and it's so good and it's so uplifting and there's so much hope in the air.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this or not, but I saw that there's a bunch of moving vans at Mara Lago, which means President Trump and First Lady Melania, they're packing up ready to head back to the White House.
That's right. I mean, they're getting ready to move in there. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Okay, I don't want to start off on a negative thing, but we just can't avoid this story. You and your family lived through two major hurricanes in Florida. But I've got to say, I think it's such a blessing that you guys had Governor Ron DeSantis and a state that's actually prepared for disasters. What are your thoughts on Governor Gavin Newsom and these LA fires and their lack of preparation that has now devastated an entire city?
Well, I could talk for hours on this, on the stupidity and on the either, you have to look at the intention behind the guy. Did he do this on purpose or did he do it just out of stupidity? It's one or the other. We have to really realize that we're dealing with two types of people here these days. We've got people that you look at their outcomes, you look at their statistics. What did they actually end up with as production from their post where they're posted? And this guy is just like, he's got F's all across the boards. I mean, so is it intentional or is it just stupid? And so to me, when you sit there and he's been caught in so many lies, I mean, even Anderson Cooper interviewed him and was asking him about, well, was there water there for the firemen to use? Was it in the reservoirs? And he's misdirecting and saying, well, yeah, those reservoirs are full of water. And, it's just going to come down to the locals figuring it out. What kind of leader talks like that? That is just so stupid. And it's just like, doesn't he understand that leadership requires that he takes responsibility? It's like water runs down from the top, right? So he's wanting to just point everywhere else but himself. And he's been caught in so many lies. And I loved when that mother caught him on the street and she was at her school where it had burnt down for her child. And she's like, are you going to fix this? Are you going to do that? And she was in his face asking questions. And I've got the president on the phone. Just lie after lie after lie. I mean, these demo rats, and that's what I call them now. I used to call them demon rats. They are demon rats still, but he's demoed. Does he understand? He's just demoed all of LA almost with his stupidity. And so that's what I think of this guy. And we have to, though, take responsibility as voters. Did you vote the guy in? Did you vote, all these other morons in that are out there trying to pretend that they're actually doing something or did something right? So we got to take the responsibility back in our hands and research more and study more the people that we're putting in office and really ask hard questions like that woman that went up on the street. Don't be afraid to get in their face and say, if they're lying, just call them a liar, say it like it is. We need truth in this country. I was so impressed with Pete Hegseth's and now Pam Bondi today, and they're sitting there and they're composed and they don't have to divert all these things. And then you look at the demon rats, the Democrats there, the swamp rats that are asking the questions. The senators that were there, they get so angry, and then they get frustrated because they won't answer their stupid questions, and all they're trying to do is ruin them and create chaos. So that's how I feel about those things.
Yeah. So Candace Owens, who's a big podcaster, much bigger than myself, she pointed out some really interesting things. They're now saying that the damage to Palisades, California is over $250 billion. That's more than the Russia-Ukraine war.
Yes.
That they are going to have to come up with. They're now saying that documents are showing that Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass, they held back over 1,000 firefighters in the first 48 hours of the fire, saying they thought it would go out on its own. We're now finding out that they have, you mentioned leadership like water rolls downhill. They've had all of this water, tens of millions of gallons. They have a reservoir with 117 million gallon capacity, and it's bone dry. And now we're
since last February. Yeah.
Yes. Now we're finding out that the fire chiefs weren't even made aware of the fact that there's no water running to these areas. The woman who's in charge of making sure that there's water, she makes $750,000 a year, 10 times the national average of an American working full time, 10 times, no water in the fire hydrants. Candace Owens is saying, listen, just like you, this is either on purpose to create some kind of 15-minute city or a World Economic Forum controlled city, or it's just pure stupidity. And if it's either of those, you've got to vote those leaders out, don't we?
Yes, and their agendas. Look at what their agendas were. I mean, that woman that runs the power in the water area, she came out and said, oh, well, my most important thing that I want to achieve during my tenure here is the DEI. That's the most important thing. No, it's not. The most important thing is that you provide water to hydrants. You provide water to reservoirs. If reservoirs need to be fixed, you fix them a year ahead of time. You don't wait. I mean, their agendas are so off the wall. Are they living in, I feel like when these people talk, I'm in Alice in Wonderland. It's like, what? What is wrong with you people? And then, the whole thing about sexual orientation with the fire department, all three of the leaders there, they're all worried about that there's equal sexual orientation, and they're lesbians, and they're, they want to make sure that everybody's proud that, lesbians are now fire chiefs. This is crazy. This is Alice in Wonderland kind of crap. So to me, I want to nominate Mayor Karen Bass of LA as the most stupid, moronic, idiotic award of the week, because this woman, not only was she trying to run off the plane and hide from this wonderful reporter. I just love this reporter, Stephen, the guy that had a English accent. He went right up, got in her face and said, should you have gone to Africa? And he's asking her all these questions. And what does she do? She's like, woo, like a deer in headlights. And you know what? She froze. And if you've studied anything on body language or any psychology, you know what that means. It's like, oh crap, I've been caught. Just like a deer thinks, okay, I'm dead. I'm in the headlights. I'm dead. That's what she looked like. That's what she conveyed. Not leadership, not saying I feel so bad for these people. And I lived in California. When I was out there modeling and acting, I know those areas very well. So to me, this was like, she's so moronic. She's so idiotic to just stand there and so arrogant. And so, this just drives me crazy, because these people are in power. But again, as I said earlier, we have to take some responsibility. Don't put those kind of people in there, and get them out of there, for goodness sakes. And then Gavin Newsom, he's, rocking back and forth in one of his interviews because he's lying so much. This is what he's doing. And again, body language says, he's so stressed out from all his lying. He can't keep things straight. He's trying to rock himself and, like a baby in a cradle. So it's just like I hope it's all, going to come out. All these lies and their treacherousness and just their deceitfulness. And he wants to spend what, 50 million or is it billion to keep, California from Trump coming in there and getting those illegals out. It's crazy town.
Yeah. $50 million to Trump-proof California. Like,
yes,
it's crazy to me. And then they spend like $30 billion a year on healthcare for illegal immigrants. Meanwhile, you have senior citizens struggling to pay their bills, veterans committing suicide. Like it's just like their priorities are so backwards. Like you said, they're so focused on DEI that they didn't have water to put out fire, and now people have DIE. It's so sad. So
it's
sad.
So sad. And I hope that President Trump holds them so accountable and says, I'm not going to step in there and fix your big, huge mistakes. We feel sorry for the people out there, and we are going to take care of them. But, get rid of you people first. And I think we need to help North Carolinians and people that were injured by, the hurricanes that are intense and using gas stove, a little bit, little stoves to try and stay warm in the snow in the winter. We have to prioritize, okay, who gets money first? Because as taxpayers, what are we going to go in constantly and fix these morons' mistakes? No, this can't be happening. But another thing that I'm concerned about is that with all that smoke inhalation out there, not only the people whose houses have been completely destroyed, but the people that are still in their own houses that are getting those fire retardants dropped on their houses, and all this particulate matter that's in the air. And what happens is that kind of poison chemicals from the smoke and those fire retardants, they are so minuscule, so minute that they can pass through our natural defense systems in our nose and in our throats and go into our lungs and embed in the lungs, and they can actually cause damage to these nerves that are actually in our lungs that send communications to our heart for it to beat. So now we're not only talking about the poor health of the lungs and our respiratory system, but we're talking about the most important organ in our body, which is our heart. And if that stops, we don't live. And that's, nowadays 1 in 4, I don't know if you know this, Stephen, but 1 in 4 people are dying every 36 seconds from heart disease. So this is going to add further on top of already polluted air out there. And it's going to strain the health of these people to no end. And it's just like, even if you're under 60, I think it's every 2 in 10 people have heart disease these days. So there is so much chaos and so much harmful action that is from the harmful actions of these people of not doing it, either by omission or on purpose, that it's really going to affect the health of people out there.
Yeah. Well, I know you've been doing health and nutrition for 50 years. So I appreciate your insight on that. Let me show you something that's very concerning to me. So the owner of the LA Times is a man by the name of Dr. Oh, shoot. I just had his name right here. Oh, I can't find it. Anyway. Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong. So he owns the LA Times, and he's also a world-renowned transplant surgeon in California. I want to roll a tape and then talk about this. Let's watch this together.
Okay.
So this idea of the effectiveness and safety of the vaccines is real science. We need to talk about it. And guess what? Not only are we going to have 2 big crises about the recovery of California over the next decade, but we're going to have to address the rising incidence of cancer. For the first time in my career, I've seen an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old with colon cancer. The first time in my career, I've had a 13-year-old child in our clinic die of metastatic pancreatic cancer.
Oh my gosh.
We have to face this effectiveness and face reality. The good news is that we can do something about it. The good news now, there are effective therapies because we understand the science in such an immense way.
So this Dr. Shiong, who owns the LA Times, this guy is being red pilled at an alarming rate. He was against Trump. He was against RFK Jr., Nicole Shanahan. He's now coming out saying, okay, something has changed. I'm now treating children with colon cancer. I don't believe that we have done proper science on vaccines. I want to know what's in the food. So this Dr. Shiong, he said he's throwing his weight behind Trump and RFK Jr. He said part of science is reviewing science. How scary is it to you that nobody seems to want to investigate the COVID vaccines, the rise in heart issues, cancer? Is that concerning to you as someone that's been in health for 50 years?
It's always been concerning to me because when I started in health 50 years ago and I found things that work, that worked rather than the pharmaceutical way or the surgery way or the typical Western medical approach, it fell on deaf ears. And people didn't want to talk about it. Doctors, they say, oh, you're crazy. So now I feel like it's almost come full circle. But the good news is that doctors are actually listening now, because there is evidence out there. It's taken 50 years for people to realize that our food supply has been so screwed up and so, filled with chemicals that our bodies cannot transmute, and that are destroying our bodies, and that we've been feeding generation upon generation. And we see the downward spiral of health in these generations. And I almost want to cry right now because of what he said with these children. Do we not value our children enough to now take a stand to say, finally, what we've been doing doesn't work? And let's find out what works, and let's find out what caused it. Let's look at the cause. Let's not just keep feeding them, pharmaceuticals that change one symptom into another. Let's find out what we've got too much of in the body. Let's detox it. Let's find out what we don't have enough and haven't had enough for ages or generations. Is it minerals? Is it vitamins? Is it oxygen? Is it good blood flow? Unplug the arteries that are filled with cholesterol and fat. And, we have to do investigations now from people. And I'm so excited that he, as a doctor and a renowned doctor, actually has the medical facilities and the medical background to go in and actually investigate and do something about it. This gives me more hope. This is great.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I hate that these children are getting colon cancer, but if it's waking these people up, hopefully they can, survive that. But let me show you something else that's very concerning to me. Actually, two things. So Rasmussen report, which was the second most accurate reporting on the presidential election, they've now been doing polling, and they're finding all across America that 53% of adults now believe the COVID vaccine is the reason for all of the unexplained deaths. And 54% of adults believe that the shots are causing medical issues for people. Then over on CNBC, the CEO of Pfizer was asked, why are so many people getting sick, injured, or dying? And he immediately panicked and said, that's not true. These have been tested and they're very, very safe. And he said, then the host said, well, if they're so great, if they're such a miracle, how come nobody's taking them? And why do so many people believe that they know someone that's been injured? And he said, oh, well, nobody's taking them at the same rates because they were so effective. Because they did such a good job. That's why people aren't taking them. What are your thoughts on that?
I call BS on that, big time. Okay, that's just it, plain and simple. I know people that went ahead and got these vaccines, and they have problems. Some of them have died. I know other people that had loved ones that died, or other people in the vicinity, because of the shedding of that vaccine in others, have been affected as well. No. These things, again, let's go back. Somebody that has the knowledge of how to do this can trace back all of the components of what are in those vaccines, and people will be shocked at what they are and what they do and how they injure the body and the respiratory system. And the facts need to come out. The truth needs to come out. These guys, again, we've got two types of people. We got the people that lie, and for any reason, and believe that it's okay to do that, to protect their business, to protect their money, their power, whatever. And then we have the people that want to tell the truth and want to find out the real reasons behind things, and want healthy children, and they want healthy America, and to bring America back to its greatness. So That's what we have to confront. So let's get the people like this doctor that owns the LA Times and other people around, surrounding him, and let's find out the real truth about these vaccines, and let's put it out there in the public arena.
Yeah, I would hope RFK Jr. and Trump and others will stick to that agenda, because I believe it was one of the reasons that they were elected. I also believe that part of making America healthy again is we have to choose to make ourselves as Americans healthy again. And
yes,
I've spoken with you privately. My late 30s after COVID, I find myself with heart issues. I'm now seeing a cardiologist, and I've been trying to use nutrition to rebuild my gut, to rebuild my heart health. You mentioned earlier, like someone dies from heart disease every 36 seconds in America. Tell me about the heart and some of the different products that you guys have that would be helpful to give the heart the nutrients that it needs.
Well, the heart is our most important organ. Without it, we can't live. The brain would die. Everything, it goes when the heart stops pumping oxygen and nutrients to our cells. So we decided, when we looked at those statistics, that we needed to do something about it. And we realized that, after my 50 years in health, there are so many people, and it just seems like everybody's getting busier and busier and busier every single year. And so yes, would I love to do what I did when I first started out in this, teach people what to cook and how to prepare it and change their diets. But it's very involved. So we decided to come up with a supplement that would put back into the body things that the heart really needs. If people are already having heart problems, they may be on statins or other health medicines. What does that do? That totally takes out CoQ10 in the body, which is vital for your heart health. It's vital for your energy and endurance and for your vitality. So we created this product in order to put back in what has been taken out of the body, whether it's through diets or meds or just, unhealthy living. And micro CoQ10 is a patented ingredient that is 3 times stronger than any other CoQ10 out on the market. That's one of our leading components in vitality. We also put in MENA Q7, vitamin K2, which is so vital because these foods that we've been eating, the processed foods and all of the junk that people have been taking in their diets over generations, that contributes to clogging your arteries with calcium. And so many people don't understand this, but without K2, you have to have K2, and people don't get K2 in their diets unless they're eating something like natto, which is from Japan, which Americans barely would eat. That's loaded with K2, and some other few foods that do have K2. So we need to get it through supplementation. And what that K2 does is it goes in and it goes into our arteries and our capillaries and our veins where they're getting plaque buildup from calcium that should have gone to our bones or our teeth. And so what K2 does is it enables the body to then naturally take that calcium and deposit it in the bones and the teeth where it belongs. And then we have also patented grapeseed extract, which is amazing. We also have hawthorn berry in there, which has been known forever to be the heart tonic. It's been used for centuries. And bilberry, and we have resveratrol in there. All these things, all these ingredients that we used in here, they've been clinically demonstrated with human studies to show that they aid and abet heart health. And I've had some experts that have known or are friendly with heart doctors that say this formulation is extraordinary and that it really is incredible. And what we have coming back to us too, Stephen, are reports from our customers that will call us back and say, I took this product for a few days, went in and had a blood test, and my blood's already changed. My doctor can't believe it. Blood pressure coming down, cholesterol, bad cholesterol coming down, energy going up. all these things aiding and abetting blood pressure and cleaning out the arteries and just overall heart health. So we're really proud of that. And I can't stress enough again, with people that are in these polluted areas, such as Southern California now, they really have to pay attention to heart health and gut health, because not only is that smoke injuring their heart and their lungs and their skin, which the microbiomes on the skin, but also their gut health is being injured too from all of these contaminants. So you really, I mean, these poor people, I just feel so sorry for them and bad for them, but all of us have to take responsibility and start really paying attention to our heart health, because our heart health, if we don't have our heart pumping, we're not sending oxygen everywhere in our body. Our nerves, our cells aren't getting enough oxygen to operate correctly. They're not getting the nutrients they need, and they're not getting the contaminants and the bad bacteria, yeast, fungus, all that carried away. So we really need to pay attention and use a product like Vitality. It's convenient, 3 capsules a day, so easy.
Okay, cool. I'll put a link to that down below. I don't mean to bring up Candace Owens again, but it sounds like everything in this Vitality has been researched more than even these vaccines. Candace Owens put out a video of RFK Jr. speaking, where he says that he sued Dr. Anthony Fauci to prove the investigations that have gone into the childhood vaccine schedule. And after a year, they came back and said, we don't have any. They've never done any testing. And so now she's saying, pull these off the market. Are you kidding me? You've been lying to the American public. So good for her for raising her voice and getting the word out about that. Okay, now specifically on the Vitality, when you guys sponsor a regular show of mine, you guys usually do buy 2, get 1 free. Can my audience still get an awesome deal like that?
Of course they can. And you know what? Let me just see what we're doing here. Because the heart health is number one thing. So let's remember that. But we're going to do the buy 2, get 1 free, Stephen. And you need to call, though, to get this. It's 888-908-4425. Again, that's 888-908-4425. And the first 100 callers are going to get a free vitamin D along with that. And vitamin D is so vital to be taking during these times as well. And when you call in, we're going to give you free shipping as well. And that saves you more money. And you can also get up to 50% off by calling in. So, we have all kinds of packages, and you tell people, that are answering the phones what you need, what your, situation is, your family, and you can get up to 50% off. So definitely, try it. And I think you'll be pleased. We're so grateful for all of the customers that call us back and share their individual stories with us on their doctor visits and how their doctor is saying, I don't know what you're doing, just continue to do it because the results are stunning. So we're just so happy to be able to do this and offer this for people. And, bless everyone out there in California and that's dealing with this, in North Carolina, everybody. My heart goes out to all of us that have experienced losses and continue to do so. But I know that we have hope now with President Trump going in, PM Bondi going in, Pete Hegseth going, all of these wonderful people that are going to set things right and do the right thing and have the right intentions and are not trying to harm, they're trying to help.
Oh, yes, I'm excited about that. Well, that's very generous. So I'm going to put a link to that down below. Call 888-908-4425. Get up to 50% off, plus the first 100 people get free vitamin D3, and you guys are going to throw in free shipping. That's really awesome. Kim, I love having small business owners, especially right here in America, come on the show. You guys you offer such a unique insight because you employ people, you deal with the taxes, you deal with, keeping your business open during multiple hurricanes. So I really appreciate the feedback, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Well, same to you, and God bless everybody out there. Stay safe, and let's all pray that President Trump's going to do a great job once he gets in. And what is it now, Stephen? 6 days?
No, it's less than that. We're just a few days away. It's exciting.
All right. Okay.
Well, hey, thank you so much.